Right, welcome back, beautiful grade 10s. Right, it's a beautiful day, beautiful evening. Yeah, and I hope that you guys have been having a great weekend. Alright, so today I wanted to just go through a few trig equations, alright, and solving sides. Alright, so we're going to start with solving sides of right-angled triangles. Alright, so I know in my previous video we went through a few things, a few trig equations. We said we're going to find ratios and we're going to find angles. Alright, so this is going to be now application of that video using a triangle now. Okay, so we are now going to solve sides. Alright, so let's see how we're going to do that. Okay, so if we look at this, right, so we've got a triangle. Alright, fantastic. Alright, and this is supposed to be 4 centimeters. Sorry guys. Alright, so if you look at this triangle, okay, I want you to copy it down in your workbooks or whatever you're looking at. Alright, copy it down, pause the video, and we are now going to ask ourselves, okay, what are we finding? What are we looking at? Alright, so I'm going to ask you guys to find Q first. Alright, let's just find Q. Alright, so how are we going to do this? Alright, so we always follow the same thing. If we're looking for a side, alright, then we're always going to have the side we want, okay, over the side we know, right? And that's either going to be sine, cos, or tan, depending on the ratio that we have here, all right? Okay, sorry guys, I'm not filling in the right stuff here. It's supposed to be 50 degrees. Okay, sorry guys. All right, so if I'm looking at this angle over here, okay, so what is the size of this angle? Okay, size of this angle is 50 degrees. Okay, cool. We know that. Now we're looking at the side we want. Okay, so in relation to this angle that we have, all right, what is Q in relation to this one? Is it the opposite? Is it the adjacent side? Is it the hypotenuse? What is it? There's only 3 sides. Okay, it's the opposite side, okay, because it's opposite B. Okay, can you see that this side is opposite this angle? Okay, can you see that? All right, so we've got opposite, which is Q, that's the one that we want, okay, over what is the side we know? What do we know? We don't know what P is, okay, it's just P, right? I know what 4 is though, okay, so what is 4 in relation to this angle that I'm working with? I'm working with 50 degrees here, angle B. Okay, so in relation to angle B, what is 4? Is it opposite? Is it adjacent? Is it hypotenuse? What is it? It's the adjacent. Very good. Okay, so that's opposite. This is the hypotenuse. This is the adjacent side in reference to this angle here that I'm working with. All right. So this is now my adjacent side. Okay, so if you look at this, I've got opposite over adjacent. All right. What is opposite over adjacent? Sine, cos, or tan? Good. It's tan. Okay. Tan of what? Okay, what angle am I working with? Okay, remember tan, sine, and cos, they always have an angle attached to them. Okay, theta, that's the angle. All right, so we know what the angle is. What is the angle we're working with? We're working with the 50 degrees. Okay, we're working with the 50-degree angle. All right, so opposite the 50-degree angle is my Q, and adjacent to my 50-degree angle is the 4, which is tan. Alright, so you can just pop that in your calculator. Oh, sorry guys, wait, first, what are we solving? We're solving for Q. Alright, so how am I going to get Q by itself? I need to multiply by 4. Good, on both sides. Okay, but if I do on one side, I do to the other. These 4's cancel. Right, and I've got Q equals tan of 50. Multiply by 4. Pop that in your calculator, and what do you get? Okay, you get 4,77 centimeters. Right, so I'm just going to pop this in here. Right, so I know that this side over here is 4,77 centimeters. Okay, round it off to 2 decimal places. Alright. Now, I want you guys to pause the video. Okay, and I want you guys to do the same thing. Okay, but I want you to find letter P for me. Okay, so pause the video. See if you can find letter P for me. Right, so, right, I just wanted to remind you guys, okay, so sine, cos, or tan, they also have their Reciprocals. Okay, so what's the reciprocal of sine? Cosec. Okay, of theta. Right, what's the reciprocal of cos? Sec of theta. And what is the reciprocal of tan? Cot of theta. Okay, if you don't know what these reciprocals are or what they mean, go watch my first video. I talk about this. I know I do speak about it. I know I do. Alright, so please go and watch that video. Right, and that will give you a little bit more understanding of what cosec, sec, and cot is. Okay, it's just the reciprocal of sine, cos, and tan. Alright, so if I'm finding P now, alright, we always want to say what? The side we want. What is the side we want? We want P. Alright, let me just clean up these over here just a little bit. Alright, so that's P. Oh, that's Q. Okay, this was 4, that was 50, that was P. Okay, just to clean up a little bit. Alright, so we want the side we want, which is P, over the side we know, which is 4. Okay, and now what is the angle we are working with in reference to? We're working with the 50-degree angle again. Alright, so we're working with this angle here. Right, that angle here, this angle here. Right, so in reference to this angle here, right, what is P? Is it the opposite? Is it the adjacent? Is it the hypotenuse? What is P? P is hypotenuse. Very good. All right. And what is 4? Okay, so we've got P over 4. So we've got the hypotenuse over the opposite or adjacent. The adjacent side. All right, adjacent to the 50 degrees here. All right. So here we've got hypotenuse over adjacent. What is hypotenuse over adjacent? Okay, it's not cos, because cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. So what is hypotenuse over adjacent? Good, it's the reciprocal, okay, of cos, which is sec of what angle are we dealing with? 50-degree angle. Alright, I hope you guys saw what I did there. Right, so if I'm finding P, okay, what do I have to do to get P by itself? I want to get rid of this 4 in the denominator. I just multiply by it. Multiply by the denominator on both sides. Multiply, multiply. 4's then cancel. Okay, so we've got P is equal to sec of 50 times 4. Right, so now I want you guys to look on your calculator. Go find sec for me. Oh, okay, I don't have sec on my calculator. So how can I rewrite sec? Right, if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go and watch my first video on trig. Okay, you guys will know then what to do here. Right, so instead of writing sec, I can write 1 over cos of 50. Very good. All right, and multiply that by 4. Okay, and this 4 is outside of this fraction here, guys. So I know some of you say 1 over cos of 50 times 4, and the times 4 is underneath here in the denominator. No, the times 4 is outside of the fraction, outside. Alright, so take that out. Okay, and what do you get for P? Alright, so carrying on here. P is equal to 6,22 centimeters. Right, so P over there is 6,22 centimeters. Alright, so now let's just look at this. Look at these answers that we have here. Right, I just want to know, does it make sense? Alright, let's see. Why does this have to be the biggest side? It is the biggest, but why is it the biggest? Why does it have to be the biggest? Why can't it be like 3 or something like that? Okay, because it's the hypotenuse. Okay, the hypotenuse is always the longest side of the triangle. Alright, so if we know that that's the biggest side, okay, my answer sort of makes sense. If this was smaller than 4 or 4,77, right, then we know that there's something wrong here. Okay, I did something wrong here, right, because my hypotenuse has to be the longest. Okay, hoping that makes sense. Right, so let's look at the next example here. Right, again, we're going to fill in the angle here. Let's give it a 45-degree angle. Right, and I want you guys to please go and find letter R for me. Find letter R for me. Okay, so pause the video, look at it, and go find R for me. Right, so again, we want the side we want. Okay, what's the side we want? If I'm looking for letter R first, I want R over, what's the side we know? Okay, I don't know what P is, but I know what 3 is. Very good. Alright, so we are working with this angle over here, the one that they gave us. Okay, they gave us this angle over here. Right? So in reference to C, in reference to this 45-degree angle, what is R? R is the hypotenuse. Very good. And what is 3? It's the opposite. Okay, so if I've got hypotenuse over opposite, what is hypotenuse over opposite? Cosec. Very good. Okay, cosec of what? What angle am I dealing with? 45-degree angle. Alright, so how am I going to get rid of these 3's? I want to get rid of the 3. I'm going to multiply by 3, and I can't just do it on the one side, I have to multiply by 3 over here as well. Alright, so those 3's are going to cancel, and I have R over here. Okay, but I don't have cosec on my calculator, that's a problem. Alright, so I have to do something first. Alright, cool. Alright, so I need to first get this as a fraction. Alright, so I can say 1 over sine of 45. Very good. And I'm going to multiply outside of that fraction, multiply by 3. Alright, and what is 1 over sine of 45? Multiply by 3. Good, okay, so it's 4, comma, 24 centimeters. Right, now I want you guys to go and find letter P for me. Okay, letter P for me. Okay, so pause the video, go find it for me. Alright, so we want the side we want. Let's draw a line here. Right, side we want. What's the side we want? We want P. Alright, so we've got P there over the side that we know. What is the side we know? 3. Alright, so we know what R is. Okay, we know what R is as well, so that's perfectly fine. If you wanted to say P over 4,25, sorry, 4,24, that's fine as well. Alright, then you would have, I think that's sec. No? Cos. Okay, you would have cos. Alright, but I would always suggest, alright, using the side that they gave us. Okay, if possible, always try and use the side that they gave us. Okay, because we could have made a mistake here. Okay, we could have. Okay, so just to keep ourselves safe, just use the side that they always give you. Then you know definitely, okay, this is 3 centimeters. Okay, this one we had to work out. Okay, but we might have done something wrong. Okay, so I'm going to use the 3. So I've got P over 3. Alright, and what is P in reference to this 45-degree angle? It's the adjacent. Good. Alright, and what is 3 in relation to this angle over here? Okay, it's the opposite. Alright, so which ratio, okay, is adjacent over opposite? Cot. Good. Cot of what? 45. Alright, so if you don't know your ratios, okay, I know some of you don't know your ratios and you don't know what the heck I'm doing or how I'm getting to cot, right? Please go and watch my first video on trigonometry and go and learn those ratios, please, guys. Please go and learn those. Alright, so how am I going to get rid of the 3? I need to multiply by 3 on both sides. Boom, boom, gone. Multiply by 3 here. Alright, I've got a problem here. I don't have cot in my calculator, so what must I do? 1 over 10. Okay, 1 over 10 of 45. Okay, and I'm going to multiply outside of that fraction, multiply by 3. Alright, and that is going to give you, just get it here on my calculator, sorry guys. Okay, multiply by 3. Okay, and that's going to give me 3 centimeters on the dot. Fantastic. Alright, so we know that now is 3 centimeters. Alright, okay, I hope you guys saw that, okay, and you guys took that in. Alright, so always, whenever you are trying to find a side, alright, what are we finding? First determine what are you finding. Okay, we're finding sides. They gave me an angle, alright? We're always going to use this formula over here at the top. Okay, side we want, over the side we know, equals our trig ratio, depending on what the sides are in relation to the angle I'm dealing with. Alright, so I hope that makes sense, because we are now going to move on to finding angles of a triangle. Alright, so what do you think if we're looking for angles of a triangle, what do you think, how many sides are they going to give us? They're going to give us more than one side. Okay, they're going to give us more than one of those sides. Okay, so nice and cool. Alright, so let's see how we're going to do this. Okay, so moving on straight to our first example here. Okay, so if you look at this triangle, alright, so they gave us two sides. They didn't give us an angle. Okay, so I need to look for this angle. I need to solve that angle now. Alright, so that's going to be sine of x or cos of x or tan of x, depending on my sides over here. Alright, so if this is the side that I'm looking for, okay, let me get it in red. If this is the angle that I'm looking for, right, if that's the angle I'm looking for, okay, I want to always, okay, whenever I'm trying to look for an angle here, guys, okay, I don't want to look for cot, I don't want to look for sec, I don't want to look for cosec, as far as possible, right? Some cases you're forced to use cot or sec or cosec or whatever, all right? But as far as possible, okay, as far as possible in my control, right? I want to always try and get a ratio that is sine, cos, or tan, okay? Just because it's a bit easier to get to the answer, right? I will show you I'll show you the way that we use cot and sec and cosec, all right? But it's a little bit easier and you get to the answer faster if you use sine, cos, or tan, all right? So whenever you're looking for an angle, all right, always try your best to look for a ratio with sine, cos, or tan. All right, so if we look at, right, I see I've got an opposite side and I've got an adjacent side to this angle. Okay, so what is opposite over adjacent? Okay, opposite over adjacent is tan. Okay, tan of what? What angle am I trying to find? Tan of x, right? Remember, tan, sine or cos, or cot, sec or cosec, okay, they always have an angle attached. In this case, I don't know what that angle is. Okay? And we know that tan is what? What's the ratio? Opposite over adjacent. Okay, what is my opposite? 3. And what is my adjacent? 1. Alright, so now we've got our equation. Right, now let's solve for x here. Okay, so how am I going to get rid of this tan now? Okay, so we've learned in the previous video, we're not just going to divide by tan. Okay, there's something special that I need to do, something that I learned in the previous video, or something that you learned in the previous video. Okay, if you go to your calculator, what's on top of tan? The tan button. Okay, there's this stuff in yellow, or I don't know what color it's on your calculator. Okay, it says tan to the power of -1. Okay, that's shift tan. Okay, shift tan. Okay, so if I shift tan on this side, I'm just going to get x. My tan's going to cancel, right? And if I shift tan of 3 over 1, or just 3, shift tan of 3, okay, you're going to get 71,57 degrees. Alright, okay, so I hope that makes sense. Okay, so it's always the first side we know over the second side we know, and we always try to aim for sine, cos, or tan. Alright, so now let's see what happens if you didn't do sine, cos, or tan. Okay, so just so you guys do know this, alright, so you can see that it's going to be a little bit, it's an extra step that you need to do before getting to the answer. Alright, so just split the page here. Alright, so if I said, okay, I see that I've got an opposite side, I've got an adjacent side, but I chose to say, okay, I'm going to use adjacent over opposite. Okay, so now what is adjacent over opposite? Adjacent over opposite is the inverse of tan, which is cot of x. Okay, and that is 1 over 3. Okay, so I chose to do that. Alright, but I don't have cot on my calculator. I don't have the inverse of cot, or cot to the -1 on my calculator. Right, so I need to do something. What can I change cot to? 1/tan. Okay, 1/tan of x equals 1/3. Alright, but I don't like this, okay, because I can't shift tan here, okay, because I've got a fraction. I've got tan at the bottom. How am I going to get tan to the top? Right, I'm just going to flip this fraction. Okay, so if I flip this, what are you going to get? You're going to get tan x over 1, which is just tan of x. Okay, so I just flipped it. Okay, so if I want me to show you, right, so I just flipped. I took the 1 to the bottom, I took tan of x to the top, right? But I can't just flip on the one side. I need to flip on the other side. Okay, so if I flip this, you're going to get 3/1. Right, now look at this, and look at this. Okay, now it's exactly the same thing. Alright, that's why I say, as far as possible, always just try and get sine, cos, or tan, because you're going to end up with sine, cos, or tan anyway. Right, and then over here, now I can shift tan, because my tan is at the top, okay, and it's over 1, so it's just tan. Okay, if I shift tan both sides, then I'm going to have x is equal to 71,57. Okay, so there we go. Alright, so that's how we do it if we do choose to get cot, sec, or cosec. Okay, but can you see there's now an extra step here? This is my extra step here. I need to flip both sides. Okay, not too difficult. Okay, but this is obviously easier. Okay, and it's quicker to get to the answer. Right, so don't waste your time. Right, but if you are forced to use cot, sec, or cosec, then obviously use it. Okay, alright, now let's look at the next example. Okay, over there, I want you to find the angle x there for me. Right, so pause the video. Okay, and I want you to do it by yourself. Right, or by your lonesome. Okay, and let's see what you get. Alright, so I assume you've done it. You've paused the video. Right, now let's see how we're going to do this. Okay, so I see I've got two sides there. Alright, nice. Two sides. So I want one side that I know over the second side that I know. Okay, and I'm finding, what am I finding? I'm finding an angle. Okay, I'm finding x over there. Alright, so now let's just highlight this angle over here just to make it a little bit more clearer. That's the angle I'm looking for. Okay, and this is a 90-degree triangle. Okay, so I see I've got an adjacent side and I've got a hypotenuse. Alright, so I know I'm trying to look for sine, cos, or tan. Okay, so which one of these three ratios has an adjacent over hypotenuse? It's cos. Okay, cos of what? Cos of x. Right, that's the angle I'm looking for. Looking for that. Right, equals, what is the adjacent side? It's 2 over, what is the hypotenuse side? It's 5. Alright, how do I get rid of the cos? No, I don't divide by cos. There's something else I need to do, that special thing. Shift cos, right? So if I shift cos this side, I'm going to get x. And if I shift cos on this side, alright, you're going to get 66,42 degrees. Alright, cool. So that angle there now is 66,42 degrees. Alright, now let's say you chose, okay, I'm going to do hypotenuse over adjacent. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Let's see how we do that. Okay, so hypotenuse over adjacent is what? The inverse of cos, which is sec of x. Okay, which is 5/2. Okay, but I don't have sec on my calculator, so I need to do something. Okay, so it's 1 over cos of x equals 5/2. Right, but I need to get my cos to the top of this fraction. So what must I do? Okay, I'm just going to flip the fraction. Okay, so I'm going to take the 1 to the bottom. Cos of x goes to the top. Okay, which is just cos of x over 1, which is just cos of x. Alright, I can't just flip this side. I need to flip on this side as well. Okay, so the 2 goes to the top, 5 goes to the bottom. Alright, and cos of x over 1 is just cos of x. Okay, and now it's just the same as this one over here. Right, so I can just go straight to my answer because I know what it is. Okay, x is equal to 66, 42. Alright, that's perfectly fine if you wanted to use sec. Okay, but I advise to, as far as possible, to use sine, cos, or tan. Okay, I hope this video was helpful and insightful. Alright, I will do another video soon on a little bit harder example, on a few harder examples. Okay, but I hope that this video was educational and I hope it gets you ready for your tests and exams. Alright, cool, Gr10s.